Okay, third time's a charm. Fingers crossed. Holler at me if it is still robot-y, and then I'm just going to try to get rid of the AirPods. So let me know when you find me. Let me know if I still sound like a robot. Okay, Lakin says I sound great. Listen, I check. I do a test run. This is what we do. We do test runs beforehand just to verify that sound is working correctly because computers do weird things like this. And I literally checked and I sounded amazing. I sounded like a beautiful angel. And then all of a sudden, nope, I sounded like a robot. So thank you, everyone, for bearing with me. It's a Monday, but this is what yoga is all about. Finding calm while your computer makes you sound like a robot. We'll go with that. All right. So everyone, let's breathe, shall we? So now we are for realsies going to get started with our cute little practice today. So let's lay down on the ground, knees bent, knees coming toward each other. Again, if you're playlisting, go ahead and press play. And again, hands can be, well, you didn't even hear me the first time because I was a robot. So hands can be wherever they feel comfortable. They can be resting on the body, alongside the body. Eyes can be closed, but if you're not quite ready to have the eyes closed, allow them to be open, just with the gaze getting nice and hazy. We'll start to sink into the breath. Allowing the breath to create a little extra sense of calm. If you just spent the last couple minutes sounding like a robot. The breath will create a little extra space in the body, a little more energy. But essentially imagine that the breath is just kind of washing away the day. I like to imagine that my breath is like the tide coming in and out. As I inhale, the tide comes in. As I exhale, it just washes all of the things away, allowing me to be here in this moment. Take these next couple rounds of breath to set an intention for your practice. Maybe it's a mantra, maybe it's a thought, maybe it's a word, maybe it's a feeling. We'll start to find a nice, comfortable rhythm to the breath, a rhythm that will carry you throughout your practice, something that's a little more intentional than the breath that gets you by throughout the day. It still allows you to move. Let's inhale, reach the arms up toward the sky. Then we'll roll the wrists out. One way and then the other way. And we're going to reach the right hand toward the back of the room, and the left hand is going to reach forward toward the feet. Then we'll inhale the hands back up toward the sky, and then left hand reaches back, right hand reaches forward. So just continue to follow this movement, follow your breath as you create a little movement and space in the shoulders. And what you didn't hear, because I was a robot for a moment, was that I spent the weekend landscaping, tilling the yard, ripping it up essentially, weeding, just hours upon hours of it. So this practice is a nice little reset, a recovery, if you will, from the hard things that we do to our bodies. And we'll reach the hands back up to the sky. And we're going to exhale the hands out to a T. Now, if you're very close to your plants and you can't quite make that T shape, you can always cactus out the arms. And we'll inhale, reach the arms up toward the sky. Right arm is going to cross over the left arm, and you're going to give yourself a little quick hug. Reach the arms up and bring the arms out. Next breath brings the arms up. Left arm is on top this time. And we'll hug. Give yourself a cute little hug. And again, continue to follow your breath here. So again, we're just creating that movement and space in the shoulders. And can you think of the movement coming from the shoulder joints themselves and less about moving the arms? And if you're like, what does that even mean? So it's okay. Just move and breathe. One more time on each side, or whatever you need to do to make everything nice and even. Then we'll reach the arms up to the sky. Now we're going to connect. Put it all together. We're going to get real crazy. So right arm reaches back, left arm reaches forward. Arms up. And left hand reaches back, right arm reaches forward. Arms up. And bring the arms out to a T. Right arm over left. Cute little hug for everyone. Arms out to a T. And the left arm over the right. Arms out to a T. We're all very aware of our shoulders now, right? Arms reach up to the sky again. And we'll hug. Actually, let's just allow the arms to rest alongside the body, or if you love that T shape or cactus shape, you can stick with that. And keeping the legs nice and wide, we're just going to ever so gently rock the legs side to side. So kind of a very supported, easy supine twist. Nothing too crazy. Just bringing that awareness and movement to the lower half of the body, waking it up a little bit. One more time on each side. And we'll bring the knees in toward the chest, holding onto shins, knees, or backs of the thighs. We'll rock a little side to side. If you're on a harder surface, you might find that sweet spot, getting that low back massage. Then we'll come back to the center, finding some stillness. And you hug the knees in a little closer. And at the same time, can you imagine that those hip creases are deepening just a little bit more? And however it makes sense in the body, you're going to come up and over into table pose. So maybe you start to rock and roll up and down the spine, or maybe you just come over to the side, however it makes sense to you. We're finding our table pose. Wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. And with your next inhale, have you drop the belly, send the heart forward, finding our cow pose. Exhale, rounds the spine, touch the chin, finds our cat pose. And just continue to follow your breath here. Maybe as you're moving through this, you find that sticking point in the spine or that spot that might need a little extra love. For me, it's my shoulders. I'll tell you what, I wore a jumpsuit to work today, and trying to get my arms out of the jumpsuit every time I needed to use the restroom was really difficult because my shoulders were very cranky. I know that's TMI, but that's okay. I feel like we're at that point now, right? And we'll find that halfway point between cat and cow, that strong table back, crown of the head reaches forward. You're actively pressing the earth away. And we'll look over the left shoulder as we scooch that left hip up. And then we're coming over, looking over the right shoulder, scrunching the right side body. And keep following your breath as you create a little space and movement laterally in the spine. We'll come back to the center, finding that strong table back. And we're going to walk the hands back to the knees. So you'll be coming to sitting on the legs in a kneeling position, also called standing on the knees. Well, not essentially, but that's okay. So if this is a lot on the knees or on the thighs, or just sitting back like this is not your jam, that's okay. You can always come up to standing on the thighs. I'm going to face you guys for a minute as we do this. So either you're up on the knees or you're resting back on the heels. Let's inhale, reach the arms up toward the sky. We're going to cactus out the arms, and we're going to press the forearms toward each other, almost as if you're resisting against the air. And try to keep those forearms glued together as you reach the arms up. And you'll get to a point that everything starts to peel apart, and we'll find our cactus arms again. So again, saying a nice howdy, hi, and hello to our shoulders. Again, maybe noticing any sticking points, any parts that might need a little extra love, a little extra breath. One more time. But you know me, I love a good flip it and reverse it. So let's reach the arms up and over, glue those forearms toward each other, and bring the elbows down. Bringing the arms apart and reach up. Reversing it. I don't know, for me, it always feels a little awkward when we do this, but that's okay. It's probably because my shoulders are cranky little beesies today. One more time, reaching up and gluing the forearms toward each other, elbows come apart, and very dramatically, drop the arms, release the arms a little bit. We're going to come back to our table pose, and we're going to bring the big toes together, knees come apart. Actually, just kidding. I just wanted to sneak us back to child's pose. That's not what we're doing yet. Silly. We're gonna reach those right toes back, tapping back into that strong table back. Crown of the head reaches forward, belly pulls in. Keep the toes on the earth. We're just gonna press out through that back heel. Feel free to stay here, or maybe you start to reach the left hand forward. And maybe you start to fly those toes off of the earth. We'll bring the left hand down, and we'll bring the right knee to meet the left. We'll set back up in that strong table pose, and we'll send those left toes back, actively pressing out through the heel. Maybe you stay there, or maybe you start to reach the right fingers forward. Feel free to stay there, or maybe you start to find a little flight as those left toes leave the earth, actively pressing out through that back heel. And we'll bring the right hand down. Left knee meets right, big toes come together, knees come apart. Now we're finding our child's pose. Hey-oh. And if for any reason you and child's pose are not friends tonight, that's okay. You can always come back to that table pose, come to a comfortable seat. Child's pose isn't the end all be all, but if you and child's pose are friends tonight, then I recommend popping down here as often as you'd like throughout the practice. And let's rise back up, finding our table pose. With our next breath, we're just going to sink the hips back, coming to a high child's pose. So you'll tuck the chin around the spine. You should feel a nice little opening in the shoulders. And then we'll roll forward, finding a quick table pose as we tuck the toes, and then we'll reach the hips up and back, finding our down dog. And from down dog, we'll bend the knees, look forward, and glide forward, finding top of a push-up plank. And we'll reach the hips up and back, finding our down dog. And we'll bend the knees, moving through table pose back to that high child's pose. So we're going to find this movement, eliminate pauses, move with the breath. So moving through table to downward facing dog. From down dog, we'll bend the knees, glide forward, finding our plank pose. Hips up and back, finding down dog. We'll bend the knees, coming back through table to high child's pose. Inhale, finding our way. With your next exhale, you'll roll forward, or whichever breath, whatever makes sense to you. Hips up and back. Bringing the knees down, finding our high child's. 2 more times flowing through this. I won't cue these ones. We'll just flow with our breath. Take your time. And we'll find our way back to a full child's pose. Taking a breath, actually many a breath here. Maybe you roll out the wrists a little bit. Maybe a little sip of your belly. With your next breath, we'll rise up and we'll find our downward facing dog. And from down dog, it does not have to be graceful. Maybe you reach that foot up and back, actively pressing out through that heel. And we'll step it forward, bringing that left knee down onto the earth. Finding our nice low lunge. Now we are going to keep the hands on the earth. If it's not working for your body to straddle the leg with the hands, you can always bring the hands on the inside of the foot. Or if it makes more sense, just keep the hands on the thigh, you can do that. Or you also have the option of blocks or block-like objects if you have those. But stay nice and low. We're going to drop the hips down toward the earth. And then we'll start to press the hips back, coming just to a nice, easy, supported half split. Feel free to keep a nice, juicy bend in that front leg. And then we'll roll forward again. And just follow your breath as you move through these two different shapes. And this time we'll roll forward to that low lunge. Don't drop the hips this time though. We'll sneak that right hand onto the right thigh and we'll press up, reaching the left fingertips up toward the sky. On your inhale, you're going to find some length. And on your exhale, you're going to, I'm a little teapot up and over that right leg. We're tipping ourselves over and pouring ourselves out. And maybe you start to reach those right fingertips down toward the earth. You do that, your balance gets tricky, or you're like, nope. You can always bring that right hand back up. And we'll rise up, reaching both hands up toward the sky. And we'll bring the hands down onto the earth. We'll tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. And let's step back, downward facing dog. And from down dog, we're going to inhale, roll forward to plank, top of a push-up. And we're going to bring the knees down for this first one. We'll shine the heart forward. Use your entire exhale to lower down toward the earth. Untuck the toes, tops of the feet plant on the earth. And we'll shrug the shoulders up, back, and down. Finding our little baby cobras. And we'll lower down. Making our way back to downward facing dog. Now that is the only vinyasa that I'm going to make you do tonight. There will be options for others, and they're all optional. And maybe you reach the left foot up and back, actively pressing out through that left foot. And we'll step that left foot forward. It does not have to be graceful. Bring that right knee down onto the earth. Up here, whether that means you're moving the hands around, the feet around, using blocks, or staying up on hands on the thigh. There we go. But no matter where your hands are at, let's start to drop the hips, sending the heart forward. And we'll start to move the hips back. Find just that easy, supported, very bent knee, half split. And just follow your breath here. One more time, moving back. And one more time, coming forward. This time, instead of dropping the hips, we'll shore up the legs, get them nice and steady and strong. We'll sneak that left hand on the left thigh and reach the right fingertips forward and up. Taking a moment to find length in the top body. And then when you're ready, tip yourself over, pour yourself out. Opening up that right side body. And maybe you reach those left fingertips down toward the earth. Bring that left hand back onto the thigh, straightening up the body, reaching both hands up toward the sky. And we'll bring the hands down onto the earth. Let's tuck the toes. Pick up that back knee. We're going to look forward and step forward, finding our forward fold. Let's inhale, halfway lift. I need that strong table back again. Exhale, we're going to forward fold. Inhale, let's rise up and reach up. And hands to the heart. Inhale, let's reach. Exhale, we're going to fold. Inhale, we'll rise up and reach up. This time as we bring the hands to the heart, can you actively press the palms toward each other, feeling that extra moment of opening in the shoulders. Inhale, let's reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to bend the knees, plant the hands, and we're going to step that right foot way back, planting the right foot, finding our warrior one legs. Now, if this is a lot on that back knee, you can always pop up onto those back toes. But if you can, if the body is allowing you to hang out in warrior one, I invite you to hang out with us. We'll sneak the left hand onto the left thigh, and we'll press forward and up, finding our warrior one. Arms reach up. Making sure the legs are nice and strong. You have a strong foundation here. Actively pressing out through that back leg. Keeping the core pulling in. I know for me, when I'm in warrior one, my ribs like to go and just like open up and splay out. So can you be intentional about keeping the core engaged, keeping the ribs moving toward each other? Then we'll bring the arms out to those cactus-shaped arms, and we'll press the forearms toward each other. And we've done this before. Let's reach the arms up, and then unpeel the arms, finding our way back to that cactus shape. High five. Boom! And arms come together, reaching up, peeling apart. One more time, really focusing on the movement of the shoulders. And flipping it and reversing it. We'll reach the arms up. Zipper them together. Peel them apart. I guess you can imagine that your arms have Velcro on them. And you're Velcroing them together up and over the head. And then you take the Velcro apart. Feel free to add sound effects, whether it's what your ribs are doing or what your Velcro arms are doing. One more time. We're going to reach up. And we're going to keep those forearms glued toward each other. We're going to pop up onto those back toes. And we're going to find a moment of flight. Hello. And if holding the arms like this is just too much, you can release the arms. If staying on one foot is too much, you can always bring the toes onto the earth. Whoop. Let's fly the arms back. And we're going to sneak that right foot to meet the left. Sneak attack chair. Arms reach up. And let's forward fold. Inhaling to a halfway lift. Exhale, we'll fold. Inhale to rise up and reach up. And hands to the heart. Inhale, we're reaching. Exhale, we're folding. There we go. Inhale, halfway lift, find that strong table back. Exhale, let's fold. And we're going to leave the right foot where it's at. We're going to step that left foot way back, recognizing that each leg, each knee, each ankle is different. So you may need to pop up onto the back toes for this one. If not, we're finding our warrior one legs. Nice, strong foundation. Sneak the right hand up onto the right side and start to press yourself forward and up. Taking a moment to find that active rooting through the back leg. Take your ribs and them in a little bit, but try doing that. I was exaggerating because you don't want to collapse in on yourself. You want to keep everything nice and tight, but open the heart. Just like when we're in that strong table back, we want the core pulled in, but the heart opening. Look at that, full circle, guys. I think Mickey likes to say it's the same 6 poses, just in different variations. That's about right. Let's reach the arms up. And we'll cactus out the arms. And we'll bring the arms together. And arms reach up. And out. So we just follow your breath here. And know that there's a lot happening in the body. You have very strong intentional legs. You have the core that should be engaging. You have the arms, the shoulders. So if you're like, what is this? Just know that you're doing a lot right now. And if you're making sound effects too of your Velcro arms, I mean, that's like ultimate multitasking, guys. One more time. And high five, boop. We're gonna flip it and reverse it. Bring the arms up and elbows come down and out. And maybe take a quick mental note of how the shoulders felt at the beginning of the practice when we were doing this, or the mobility. Maybe you can reach a little higher up, a little further back. Now, then you go to the beginning of the practice. One more time. We'll keep the forearms glued together. We're gonna pop up onto those back toes. We'll propel forward intentionally, finding that moment of flight. But again, if you don't want to fly, you need the toes on the earth. If you don't want the arms, you can release those. Let's reach the arms back. And left foot meets right, sneak attack chair. Arms reach up. And exhale, let's forward fold. We're gonna hang out in our forward fold for a couple breaths. So maybe find your favorite version. Maybe it's with hands on the ground as you rock side to side. Maybe it's holding opposite elbows. Maybe it's holding onto the backs of the thighs. Or maybe it's that tried and true coach pose. Maybe you stay still, maybe you sway a little. And we'll release our forward fold. We'll inhale to find a halfway lift, engaging the core. Exhale, fold. Let's rise up and reach up. And hands to the heart. Actively pressing the palms toward each other. Feel the shoulder blades move toward each other. So maybe play with that. Play with what you normally would do versus when you actively press the hands together and press the shoulders together. I feel like you can probably see the difference on the camera. I can feel the difference, so. And we'll release the arms. Can you keep that openness in the shoulders, across the collarbones? Let the fingers drift down toward the earth. Let's take a deep breath in together. We'll open up the mouth, release the breath. We'll blink the eyes open, reach the hands up to the sky, and let's forward fold. Inhaling to a halfway lift. Exhale, let's fold. We're going to step that left foot back. Right hand sneaks up onto the left thigh. Let's press up. Finding our crescent lunge for a moment. And let's open up warrior two, facing the left edge of the mat. Again, you want those really strong, intentional legs, so actively rooting through that back leg, as well as the front leg. And we'll bring the arms out. Actually, let's bring the hands to the heart, and let's actively press the palms toward each other. Feel the shoulder blades move toward each other. Feel the heart lift into the hands. Keeping that lifted openness in the top body. Let's start to bring the arms out. Hello, arms. Hello, openness. And let's turn the top palm, front palm, up toward the sky. And we're going to reverse the warrior. We're going to hang out here for a couple breaths. So if you really love keeping the knee bent, you want to hang out here, feel free to. Or we're going to root through that big toe and straighten the leg on the inhale or exhale, whichever one. And then we'll bend on the inhale or exhale. One more time, pressing into the big toe. And then we'll bend into that front knee. We're going to find our warrior two arms again. If you want to come back to that prayer position to bring the arms out, perfect. We're going to bring the forearm onto that front thigh. Actively press up and out of the shoulder. And we'll reach that left arm up toward the sky. Again, feel free to find some stillness here. Or we will keep everything how it is. We're just going to move the arm. So we're going to turn that top palm toward the front of the mat. And we're going to reach the arm toward the front of the mat. And then reach the arm up. Flip the palm toward the back of the mat. And bring the arm down to the hip. You want to give yourself a little good job tap. You can. Arm reaches up. We'll flip the palm. And reach up and over, arm up, turn the palm. One more time. And we'll press back up, warrior two. Let's cartwheel the hands down onto the earth. And we're going to step back, finding our downward facing dog. Option to move through the vinyasa, which is that plank, lowering down, opening up the heart, all those good things. Or you can hang out in your down dog. You can hang out in child's pose and table pose. Now's a great time to get some beveragino happening. Cheers. But we will be meeting back in downward facing dog. No rush, just making your way there. And we're going to reach that left foot up and back. And we'll step that left foot forward. Finding that low lunge, staying up off that knee. We're going to bring the left hand down onto that front thigh. And we'll reach the right fingertips forward and up, finding our crescent lunge. And then we're going to open up warrior two, facing the left edge of the mat. Checking back in with those strong, intentional legs. We'll bring the hands to the heart. Actively press the palms together. Feel the shoulder blades move toward each other. Feel the heart lift. We'll bring the arms out to that great warrior two. moment. Front palm turns up toward the sky, and we're reversing our cute little warrior. We're gonna actively press through that front big toe as we straighten the leg with intention, and then bending that knee with intention. Following your breath, no rush on the movement, just like there's no rush on the breath. One more time, rising up. We'll bend into that front knee, finding our warrior two arms. Front forearm comes onto that front thigh. Actively press up and out of that shoulder, reaching the right arm up toward the sky. We'll turn the palm toward the front of the mat and reach the arm up and over. Arm reaches up, palm turns and reaches down. Again, free to give yourself a nice little like, good job you tap. And we'll follow our breath. One more time, we're reaching up and over. And we'll press back up, fighting our warrior two. We'll cartwheel the hands down onto the earth, stepping back, downward facing dog. Option for that vinyasa, option for beverages, for child's pose, for down dog, table, whatever feels perfect for you. And if it makes sense in the body, right foot reaches up and back. And we're gonna step that right foot forward. So we are going to be coming into those cat-cow lunges if you're familiar with that. So if you already know that you want a little extra support on the hands, go ahead and grab that. I'll give it a couple different options. There's no good, bad, or better, or whatever it is. Good, best, or better, I don't know. It's whatever makes sense in your body, that's the best. So we'll stay up onto those back toes, hands are on the earth, and we'll drop the hips, shine the heart forward, and then we'll straighten the legs, tucking the chin. So here's one of the options. You can always come to that little half split moment that we had at the beginning of the practice. It's essentially the same, just a little bit of a smaller movement, which is perfect. Or you can bring the hands into that front thigh. And as you come to that like half split type moment, just make sure you're not putting too much weight. You might even fly the hands back. So any, all, or none of these options are perfect. And we'll come to our forward low lunge. We're going to bring the hands to the inside of that front foot. And we're just going to walk the hands to the long edge, so the left edge of the mat, finding our wide-legged forward fold. We're going to hang out here for a couple breaths. So again, finding your favorite version of this. Maybe hands stay on the earth. Maybe they reach behind you. Maybe they rest on the legs. Maybe you sway side to side. We're gonna walk the hands toward that left foot now, coming to that low lunge. Now on the back of the mat. The back of the mat's on the front of the mat. It's a magic trick. Yogis are magicians, the end. So again, taking all that same time, energy, effort to get set up on this side. So if you need to go grab your blocks or block-like objects, perfect. When you're ready, we're gonna drop the hips and the heart forward. And then we will press back. And again, just follow your breath here. And know that you can bring that back knee down and move through that half split and low lunge with the knee down. You can always do this with the hands on that front thigh. And teacher felt, you can also do this with the hands on the inside of that front foot. She would have offered that first time round. Press the hips back one more time. And we'll roll forward. And again, let's walk the hands to the left long edge of the mat, finding our wide-legged forward fold once again. And just like that first time, make it your own, moving or holding the pose however you need to create a little more space, stability, energy in the body. And we're going to walk the hands toward that right foot. Does not have to be graceful. Let's step back, downward facing dog. One last chance to move through that vinyasa, if that's what you're craving. Or we are going to meet in table pose. So if you prefer to meet in table, we can do that. And from our table pose, we're going to drop the belly, send the heart forward, find our cow pose again. Exhale, we're going to round the spine, tuck the chin, finding cat pose. We'll flow through this a couple times. Again, maybe noticing that things might feel a little less sticky along the spine. The spine may feel a little more open. The shoulders may glide along the backside of the body a little more freely. And we'll move side to side again, looking over the left shoulder and then the right. And we'll sink back to child's pose one more time. And take some really deep belly breaths while you're here. So the breaths where you are intentionally pressing that low belly against the thighs to create a little extra space along the low back. Things at the end of the day, things always feel a little crunched up and tight for me in my low back. And so that's always a beautiful way to kind of passively create some extra space just by breathing. Imagine that. We're gonna rise back up, finding our table pose. And we are going to come to seated pose. Nothing fancy there. But we are going to bring the soles of the feet together, knees come apart. Yogi's choice on how close the feet are toward the body. So yeah, just really depending on how the body is feeling. Maybe you keep things close or maybe you press things out. Feel free to wiggle it around until you find that happy point. And we're going to bring the hands behind the hips, staying up on those fingertips. Let's start to press the heart up toward the sky. Feel those shoulder blades move toward each other. Even though just naturally, because we're up on the fingertips, the shoulders are going to be elevated a little bit. Can you find that intention of the shoulders moving away from the ears? And we'll pull the belly in, keeping that openness across the heart, pulling the belly in, feeling those ribs move toward each other instead of being splayed out. It's the new sound of ribs, just in case you're wondering. So keeping the heart opening, maybe you hold on to the shins and you start to press the heart forward. As you press the heart forward, you might be able to walk the hands a little closer to the feet. And if you were doing hours and hours of yard work, maybe if you're holding the feet, you give yourself a nice little foot rub. So kind. And feel free to stay here, keeping the heart reaching forward. Keep giving yourself that foot rub if it's what you need. Or maybe if it feels so delightful, you allow yourself to roll forward toward the feet. There is no right or wrong. Again, it's just what feels good in your body today. And even if you are bowing forward toward the feet, can you still keep that intention of a nice long spine? So try not to completely round out, but you can allow the shoulders to round forward, but keep that length of the spine, almost as if you're propelling out of that low back. And again, if you're like, so what are you talking about? That's okay. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy the pose, enjoy the breath. And we'll start to slowly rise up. No rush here. We'll bring the hands to either side of the legs. And we'll use the strength of the arms to bring the knees in toward each other. And we'll just ever so gently lower ourselves down. Nothing too crazy. And we'll keep the knees bent. We'll bring the arms out to a T or cactus arms. And we'll bring the feet about match width distance apart again. And start to sway the legs side to side. And next time that the knees come over to the right, allow them to rest there. So you're in a supine twist with the legs apart. It's kind of like a wide-legged supine twist. If this is absolutely not your favorite version, feel free to move it around and find your favorite version. If you don't mind this one, I'll invite you to hang out with me. Maybe this is your favorite one. In that case, you're welcome. Enjoy it. And we'll bring the knees back to the center, allowing the low back to rest on the earth. Then we'll start that sway side to side again. And next time that the knees come over to the left, allow them to rest there. Wiggling things out, finding that moment of ease where you can start to drop into this pose. Allowing the breath to create that extra space, energy, and attention that we've been talking about throughout the practice. We'll bring the knees back to the center. And taking a moment to let the low back rest on the earth. And feel free to move through any other poses that the body might be craving. And we'll start to find ourselves in our final resting pose, our Shavasana. You can take that pose with the knees bent, just like how we started our practice, or if you would like to allow the legs to come out long, you can. Arms to be resting on the body, alongside the body, behind the head, reaching up and over. Just finding that space that you can begin to drop into. You can allow this practice, this energy, this intention, this space to start settling in to the breath and the body and the mind. And if you're blissed out right now, feel free to stay there. Or maybe you begin to deepen the breath. Inviting movement back into the hands and the feet. Gently rocking the head side to side. Rolling to your favorite side. And gently pressing your way up, coming to a comfortable seat. Bringing the hands to the heart. Thank you for sharing your practice and energy and spirit tonight. The light within me honors light within each and every one of you. Namaste. And cheers. Again, so much thanks for those of you who stuck it out as I tried to fight technology so I could actually teach tonight. Thank you, Lakin and Rebecca and Jamie and all of you good humans for bearing with me. Sorry, I thought I could turn that light off, but apparently I can't. As always, a recommended donation for the class is $5 or any type of token or gratitude or whatnot. Oh, Cheryl and Jerry, I'm so glad you found us as well. Thank you guys. Oh, and Debbie, thank you. I seriously can't thank you guys enough for finding me. I thought. Anyway, let's see. We have all sorts of good, fun things coming up this weekend for in-person classes. I'm teaching again at Level, which I'm super excited about. And sorry, my face didn't say that. I'm super excited about. And we still have spots left. So definitely come grab it and grab a spot. It's going to be a beautiful day. And we're going to just sit outside and drink beer. So it's a beautiful thing. Oh, Pam, thank you. Glad that I sound like an angel. But everyone, have a beautiful, beautiful week. Go out and do good and stay classy.